Unpopular opinions.
Unpopular opinions. And today, my guest is Grace.
No, you're my guest. This is my show, Unpopular
This is
Opinions.
your show?
Yeah.
Are we recording your show?
Yeah, this is
Is this what happened?
Unpopular
Did this just
Opinions.
get flipped?
We flipped the script.
Where's Adam? Where did Adam go?
Unpopular opinions. Flipping the script. First unpopular opinion. Jason Beck knows everything.
It's just reality.
It's not a popular opinion, it's just fact.
It is.
I'm learning this as his partner.
Yes. Speaking of partners, Grace is so lucky that she is now my business partner. And we're going to tell you all about how this actually happened, all on today's episode of Casual Conversations.
That's
with,
dope.
Apparently, unpopular opinions. All right, so, Grace. So I guess it all started when I was at a board meeting.
Yeah.
And we decided that West Hollywood, we were going to try to throw a Halloween event with legal licensed sales and consumption in the streets of West Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard. Yes, and us as the Emerald Village, we put out a RFP to find the best event producer to be able to make sure that it's not only compliant, but also is a smash, because West Hollywood wouldn't have anything less.
But lucky for me, they weren't available, so he called me next. Just kidding.
Cute.
I had to.
That's close to how this story happened, but not quite,
no.
not quite.
No.
So, the next phase in this intriguing story is Wayne
That's where I was
submits an RFP to us. Then, before the meeting of us voting on all this stuff, we had our board call to vote on whose proposal we wanted to accept for the event. And I hadn't had a chance to review anything, and I apologized for being bad on my duties. But nonetheless, it has a happy ending. Because once this all happened, they said we had to take the vote today. And I said, I asked them, I said, well, who are the candidates? And they told me one of the candidates' names, and then they mentioned Wayne Tay with Grace Consulting, LLC. And I said, well, that works out perfectly, because that's exactly who I was going to recommend for this job. And so they have my vote. And I believe we got a very nice, overwhelmingly approval vote to allow for Wayne and Grace to grace the city of West Hollywood with a cannabis event in conjunction with the Emerald Village. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was at home and I got the call. And for those of you guys who know, I threw a DCC licensed event before that in Oakland, and it was a very different experience. And so I get the call from Wayne, and he says to me, sis, are you ready? I'm like, yeah. And he says, do you still have your license? I'm like, yeah. And he says to me, it's, a shot in the dark, but we put in a proposal to work with Emerald Village and Jason Beck on this Halloween event in WeHo. Now I'm like pinching, I'll wait for that. I'm pinching myself at this point, like, wait, did I hear that right? Like West Hollywood? And I knew, it wouldn't be an easy battle, because even when I spoke to the state at that point, just to tap in, she was shocked. She thought that the city of West Hollywood would take years. Like, she thought many others would have to come first to kind of prove themselves. And she was like, man, if you can pull this off, like, you've got our support.
Yeah.
So then I ran into you at a party I think we were at the Puffed Out, and I was so excited, you guys. I jumped the gun, and I was like, oh, there's Jason Beck. How do I talk to him? What do I say? And I didn't know we got it yet. So I go over there and say hi. And I kind of knew the proposal was in. I just didn't know you guys had voted yet. So I'm like, hey, just FYI, I'm not sure if I can talk about this yet, but there's this event coming up, and I think you guys are going to work with us. And then that's when you let me know that it was happening for sure and that I could actually say it.
Yes. Yes, because the Emerald Village voted unanimously to approve Wayne and Grace to construct, criticize, and make sure it's compliant.
Yeah.
West Hollywood's first ever city-sponsored licensed cannabis event in the streets of West Hollywood.
Now the funny part is, I remember when I got that call, you know, there's timelines, like especially with the city and the state, there's really strict timelines and guidelines about when permits have to be turned in, when the list of non-cannabis and cannabis retailers. So I start counting back and I say to him, and we don't even know we have it yet. And I'm like, Wayne, that means I have to have all the permits in 4 days, like to get the initial part of the process in. And he says, that's correct. And so we didn't even know yet, and I just started doing it. I literally just started the paperwork just in case. And then I saw you that next day. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. And he's like, how's the paperwork? I'm like, it's ready. And so we submitted, I think that happened on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and we submitted the paperwork like Thursday by midnight, like 11:59. Yeah. It was really tight, guys.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
Right on the deadlines.
But it didn't end there, did it?
No, it did not.
No, it didn't.
No, it did not. There was many hurdles that the city put the Emerald Village and Wayne and Grace through in their inauguration of working with the city of West Hollywood.
It felt like, playfully, like a hazing almost. And I think, the biggest concern they had is there's such a tight-knit community in West Hollywood. And Emerald Village represents the cannabis retailers, correct me if I'm wrong,
yes.
in Emerald Village on Santa Monica, and I think it expands.
All of West Hollywood.
All of West Hollywood.
All of West Hollywood.
So I think a huge part of their, concern was, who are Wayne and Grace? Why are they coming in? And they wanted to make sure it's really Emerald Village, that we're just producing and coordinating the event. Now, at that point in time, we're working with the city guys, and they, saw the paperwork we turned in. I had been contracted through Jason and his company. Our contract was strictly like as a coordinator for my services. But part of that was this understanding that they were going to use my California state event license. When you look at the city ordinance of West Hollywood, there is something where it says that someone like Jason, because he owns a retail shop, and not just owns one, it's the longest
Let me go into a little bit of context in this, because West Hollywood has in their ordinance, and this is the part that you're alluding to, only allows for people to operate cannabis businesses that have cleared a business license regulatory commission hearing.
Yes.
And those have to be scheduled, they have to be paid for, and there's a whole, a few different things that you have to do in regards to getting something like that done. And there would not have been any type of timeline in place for Grace to have been able to go through a business regulatory commission hearing within that time frame, and still be able to pull off the event, and with all of the other regulatory hoops as far as with the DCC licensing, local licensing, to get all the proper sign-offs and everything that would be needed in order to throw a compliant event.
Correct. And so I believe it's 100, and don't quote me on this, but it's either 120 or 160 days. Because I'm not a retailer, I would have not qualified to hit that time span, but Jason did. So I thought, okay, no problem. Jason is the one who hired me. It's, it's his license on the line. It's just my event license that they're coordinating through. We thought that was no problem. We definitely expressed it. I think there just may have been some misunderstandings. To make a long story short, we go through months of getting different permits, going through the fire marshal. You have to get permits if there's food trucks. You have to get permits if there's a tent. It's permit after permit. So we're going through this process, Wayne and I, and we're thinking everything's great. Everything was honestly flowing so smoothly, it was a little ridiculous. Like, this is too smooth. What's happening? We ate those words.
Yep.
And then, well, we had a few bumps. Can I say all of them?
You
Sure.
can say
All right.
whatever. You can say whatever you want.
First bump we had in the road was discovering that a third party that was contracted to do sponsorships had done so, but that the funds were not collected in a timely fashion. And I'm being so nice. And so imagine I'm the coordinator and I'm trying to, I'm dealing with all these different working parts. And then suddenly I felt it was my obligation to just kind of come to, and you never want to do that. You never want to step over people. But I just felt like this is the boss man and he should know these things aren't being collected in a timely fashion. So that was our first hurdle.
Yes.
Was like, get the money.
That was the first hurdle. But
Yeah, but that went smooth.
that was
once-
easily overcome.
Yeah.
Because once I was alerted to the situation, I immediately got lists. And oh my God, I can't believe I got 3 or 4 different lists of all the different sponsors. It was very, very disorganized.
Oh, I
in
didn't
this
know that.
presentation. And not to mention, come to find out, there were 2 sponsors, I believe, out of all those lists that I still missed afterwards that I didn't find out till later that I needed to send an invoice to. But nonetheless, everyone got their invoices and everybody got them paid. So thank you all to everyone that participated and all of our sponsors.
Yeah, so now we're thinking, okay, crisis averted, everything's good. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was really on cruise control at that point. Like, we knew what permits needed to go when, we were doing everything. Now imagine, guys, we're about 4 days before the event.
And this is including 2 days of them are the weekend.
Yes. 2. So we actually really only have 2 business days.
If I remember correctly, we got notified of this on a Thursday night prior to the event.
So Thursday around 1:30 p.m., we have what I would almost call a final meeting with all of the city council. And we're sitting and we have all the different department heads who've been in these meetings, and suddenly
Who we've all been working with throughout the whole time.
we've been working with.
And have been great to work with throughout the entire
Yeah.
process. Like, the city of West Hollywood is fantastic in that regards, and we definitely want to thank them for all of their hard work.
But we got to the finish line, and this is why it's so important to really understand any city ordinance that you're working with, to really have someone who understands that. And then if there is something that's vague, get it clarified ahead of
Yes.
time, which was a learning lesson. So there was a little bit of vagueness about how it was written and who had to actually have the license versus contracting someone with the license. Because I think in the language said you had to obtain one, but it didn't state you had to have one, just obtain
a license.
So he did. He obtained
Yes.
it through me.
Yes.
So, and mind you, we still used, Jason's business tax certificate. We were still, there was no secrets here. Everybody knew, we're operating through Emerald Village. Oz was listed as one of the main retailers on the licensing. So we really thought we'd done our due diligence. So now, guys.
We thought we had it in the bag until we hit a snag.
So Thursday, the event is on Tuesday, you guys. That gives us we have half of Thursday, a few hours. Friday and Monday, we don't have Monday. Monday can't happen because the permit we have to have the permit by the state by Friday. So this is Thursday at 1:30. And basically, I had, these department heads kind of scratching their heads going, oh my gosh, this might be impossible.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, I got to tell me something is impossible and I'm going to make it happen. Maybe it's the Taurus in me, but I am so stubborn that the moment this person looked me in the face and said, there's no way you could do this. I said to the whole team, no, we will do this. We're going to do this. Then we got off the phone and Wayne called me and he said, how are we doing this? And I said, I don't know. So I called Jason train goes round and round. I call Jason, and I'm really in panic mode at this point. This is probably the first time this whole event where I'm in panic mode. And we concocted 3 plans. We had plan A, B, and C. Plan A was, it seemed like a miracle, honestly. Plan A was somehow, in less than 24 hours, make Jason Beck an official, like on paper, legally, through the Secretary of State, make Jason Beck 50% owner 50% owner of my company and my LLC. And I mean, I had to kind of take a moment and scratch my head. And then obviously a lot of trust. Then I really thought about the fact that maybe this was a winning deal for me too.
She is so winning. She doesn't even realize how much she's winning.
We're both winning. But it was just a moment of like, oh my gosh, you almost don't have time to think about it. Usually either one of us would have wanted serious lawyers, contracts, things put in place, but there was just no time for that. So as we're having this conversation, trying to figure out how do we even go about doing that in time, I had a guy.
Grace has a guy.
Had a guy.
Watch out, guys, because Grace has a guy.
Man, it was like a favor from over a decade ago that someone I knew had done for a friend, and I had to call in. Imagine, like, we're talking like a 15-year favor, like, hey, can you help me, like, now? And this poor guy is like, at this point, it was 6 p.m. at night, you guys.
Wasn't he walking out of the office?
He was walking out of the office. It's 6 p.m. at night, and I'm like practically like begging, like, please go back in the office. So I start calling Jason. I'm like, you have to answer. Like, I need to get you on a conference call right now. I don't care what you're doing. Get on this call. We get on a conference call. Next thing you know, we're inputting Jason's information. It gets sent to the Secretary of State, and boom, it's legal. Now we have to submit to the DCC. And it's after hours.
The filing, yeah.
Yeah, this is after hours filing, people. I'm like, I'm now reaching out to a private cell phone number to someone who works at the state, like Hail Mary moment. And the next morning, like, it's like 6 a.m. None of us can sleep. We can't even, and I know they don't get in till 9. But somehow we got it all in, you guys, and someone at the state just really had our back, and everybody wanted to make this work. The city wanted to make it work. The state wanted to make it work. We wanted to make it work.
Yeah.
And so now.
And we did.
Yeah.
High five. Yes.
Oh, you guys. Dude, never give up. That's the truth.
That's right.
Never give up. And then, dude, utilize your network. Like, I think people really underestimate their networks, and you never know that maybe the girl that you used to serve with in college would turn around and marry somebody who could then turn around and help you.
Really important.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Hashtag life goals.
And guys, that's just like one part of the permitting. Like, I can't even tell you what an honor it's been to work on this project. Emerald Village is probably one of, like, now my favorite people to have worked with. Super professional. I'm sure anybody out there in cannabis knows it's hard because we have a lot of people that are kind of coming from so many different industries, and not all of those industries are necessarily corporate. So to get to work with something that was both on a corporate level but still fun, we still got to enjoy it.
And still had retained that essence of the culture.
Yes. Dude, we had Weavers come in.
We did.
And do one of his like Weavers blunts, and we actually got to go up on the stage and like light it up, smoke it with the crowd.
We ghosted that blunt, and it was a ghost blunt for Halloween.
That was dope.
Yes.
That was so dope.
We still have the box over here too, I think.
Oh, we do.
Somewhere.
I bet we could get that box.
We might be able to get the box.
The magic of the camera magic
box.
The box.
All of a sudden, it will just appear like magic.
So, Jason, tell me, I got to ask you on these casual conversations, what was your favorite part of the process?
Well, hold on. We gotta finish.
Oh, wait.
We gotta finish talking about the process. Thank you, Adam.
Look at this.
Thank you, Adam. Adam, say hi to everybody out there at home today. So this was the box that this came in from Weavers, the Emerald Village Harvest Hunt Halloween, West Hollywood, California.
Is it a cigar box?
It is.
Similar, yeah.
Come on, open it this way.
Yeah, the other way.
No, the hinges are right
You got
here.
it. I think you got it. It might be. Oh, I bet you it's the heat, the paint,
Oh,
the heat.
yes.
Ooh.
There we go. And inside is the original mold that was used to make the ghost blunt that we all ghosted as we smoked it.
That's dope.
Yes.
Time to take a break because this receiver's about to die.
Okay.
Do you guys have more?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not even finished with the story yet.
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
It's
Easy
because
like that.
it's because I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't reciprocate. Oh, don't put that on camera.
It wasn't. I just started.
I think we should put that
No.
on camera.
No. No, because he still said he's going to do the article. He said he's going to do it on licensing.
People using the power of the pen to control the puss. It's fucked up.
Except it ain't for sale.
There we go.
So
I
you
guess
can
he couldn't
keep
write
your
enough.
pen,
You
yeah.
keep your pen. It must be a dry erase pen instead of ink, wet ink. Feather duster pen.
Damn, that train is annoying.
Train. Every 15 minutes we get the train. You know you're in the city.
Is it really every 15 minutes?
I think it's about 15 minutes. Yeah.
Damn.
I think so.
Chicago, New York, LA.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a big city.
that
There's
where
big
it
city
goes?
vibes. This gives, this big city vibes over here.
The best cities in the world. For real.
This is so cool that he gives you the mold. That's
Yes.
actually really dope. Because I was like, yeah, that's
Well, I don't know if
pretty
he
cool.
gives everyone the mold.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen the mold before, actually. That must be a new thing
Yeah.
he's doing.
Well, I don't think he does that for everybody.
He's never.
I don't believe that to be the case at all.
Are we off
Yeah.
camera?
No,
You guys
we're
are rolling.
we're back.
Oh,
We're
okay.
back.
I was
We're
about
back.
to say something else. Never mind.
It's all right. You could say it. It's okay.
No, then it's on camera. Fuck that.
That's what Adam edits for. So now, all of a sudden, we get the paperwork finished with the state, and we submit it to the state to obtain the state license, which
Yeah.
is the next step for us to accomplish in regards to that. And if I remember correctly, we got it on Friday.
Or Monday.
I don't think we got it on.
I think.
Maybe we got it Monday
I think we
morning.
got the city on Monday morning.
No, then we got the state on Friday. 100%. We got the state on
The
Friday.
state comes second, so then we got the city on Friday. And then the state on
we got
Monday.
we got the state license before
Can
we
I
got
fact
the city.
check?
100%.
There's no way we got the state first.
We got
That's
the state
impossible.
first.
It
We got
doesn't
the
work
state
that
first.
way.
We got the state first.
This is what it probably was. The state probably said, we're ready to give it to you,
The state
but
issued the
we
license,
need
and
the
they
city.
gave me the of course they needed that, but they still issued the license.
Okay,
in
so then this is how
anticipation.
we'll say it. Okay, I've got it.
All right,
So unlike
we're gonna cut a
normal-
lot of that out.
Yeah, cut that out and then kind of start from here.
Yes.
So something different that happened with this event is usually there's a timeline, and you have to abstain. You have to obtain. There's that word again. You have to obtain the city permit first, and then you submit that to the state, and then you get the state issued permit. This was delicate for a few reasons. One thing that we had holding up the city permit, once we finally got all that stuff, got Jason, we're partners, it's legal. Then we had a snag with insurance. I came close to killing my insurance agent. Obviously kidding, but man, I was driving to his place one day, like to his place of work. And I was like, I'm driving to you, buddy. And he got back to me, and I didn't kill him. But no, it was just the city of West Hollywood was really different in that most of the times when we get a insurance certificate, we just have to get a 1 million, 2 million aggregate. It's kind of standard for events. That's just how much you're being insured for. Not the city of West Hollywood.
Yeah.
2 million, 4 million. So it was double, and there was some oversight with the insurance, and I think they were just trying to understand how to.
Well, yeah. I mean, from the city's perspective, they just want to make sure that everyone is safe and they're covering their end.
Absolutely.
To ensure that in the event of anything unfortunate to happen that the proper protections are put in place to make sure everyone's taken care of.
And actually, and I don't want to misspeak, but I know that because of this event and because of some of the issues we had getting it insured, I think the city is actually going to change how it's written in their city ordinance to ensure that that insurance companies can actually insure it.
Sweet.
It was one after the other.
Oh man, it was one thing after another. But finally, we got through the insurance.
And that's now Friday.
Yes, and if I remember correctly, we received our state license on Friday with anticipation that the city was going to issue the license, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah, which was something very different. Usually we would have to obtain the city permit in order to get the state permit. Luckily, the state really wanted, everybody wanted to make this happen. So the state basically said, we will issue it with the condition that you have to get the insurance figured out and you have to get the city approval. But as long as that's met, here is your permit.
Here you go.
So a little backwards. So we get that on Friday, you guys. Imagine Monday, I've got vendors calling me. I'm trying to act normal and not like I'm crying and pulling my hair out. And then Monday morning, I was sitting on needles practically. Mm-hmm. And now I think we got everything. We gave all the insurance stuff. It's like Monday, imagine you guys, the 11th hour. And then we're like, haha, we have everything. There you go. We did it. And then.
And this is I think we had everything to them by 2 p.m.
Yes.
On Monday, everything that they needed, that they requested in the ninth inning. And
now I'm driving to Moon Sesh, if you guys know the Moon Sesh, which was...
It was an event.
Yes.
You were working that night.
I was supposed to work that night.
Yeah, you were working.
And I get a call from a city council member and one of the city... there's city council and then what is...
No, city planner, I believe.
The city planner and a city council member.
No, code
it was
compliance.
David and
it was code compliance and the city manager.
Okay, delete the part I said. But code compliance and city manager, emergency Zoom, and they basically let me know they're going to be adding a list of conditions that we have to meet. This is on Monday at 4:31 p.m. Mm-hmm. The event is less than 24 hours away. Imagine this, you guys, less than 24 hours away. I'm literally giving people directions to this event, and I don't even know if we have a permit yet. And so we see this list of conditions, and oh my gosh, Jason, I'll let you take it from here. There were two that were just terrifying.
Well, the city put in a number of restrictions, I think, just in anticipation of fearing the worst. One of the other conditions that they also had, in addition to that I thought was a little interesting, and was that they requested a 9 a.m. meeting, and every single business that planned to be there had to have a representative on this call to go over all the rules that the city was imposing as far as the local ordinance controls for this event. So I, of course, asked them if we could move it to 10 because we couldn't miss out on High at 9 News. You got to make sure you tune in Monday through Friday. But
9 a.m.
Yes, and so the city obliged and moved the meeting to 10 a.m. and everyone that was setting up for the event was basically on a Zoom call at the same time while they're setting up their booth with the city of West Hollywood, going over all the rules with the code compliance director.
And this meeting wasn't Zoom or Google Meets. It was actually a Microsoft Meet. So if you haven't used that before, you do have to download a separate app, and it takes a minute. So I had one of the representatives from Artistry was with me. We're in the middle of setting up on Santa Monica Boulevard, huge trucks and noise, and she's like, I can't get this Google Meet to work. And I said, just get in the screen with me. So I had 3 different people in screen with me, like, we're here, check.
Yes.
And meeting was to read the email that we had been sent. So we
Yes.
read it A to B to make sure everyone understood like code, everyone understood compliance. There were no misunderstandings. I mean, really at the end of the day, like, we don't want to get sued. We want to make sure the neighborhood is happy. We want to make sure the city is happy. We wanted to ensure that we could throw something for the community, but be able to do this again.
Mm-hmm. And with that brings us up to when they finally send us over all of the final documents. The day of the event, we're out there setting up, getting ready on Tuesday, Halloween Day, October 31st, and we finally receive all of the necessary documents. So now that we have gotten all this and we had the meeting with the city, we are ready to go. It's probably around like 2:30 in the afternoon, and we're getting ready for the event.
To be fair, we started preparing much earlier than that.
Yes.
We got on site about 9 a.m. Believe me, we'd have been there sooner if we could have been allowed to. But the street closure didn't start till noon. Mm-hmm. But we were told from 10 to 12 it would be happening. So at that time, we started to have our larger vehicles actually pull in so they wouldn't be trapped. Oh, you guys, when I tell you, like, I think someone asked me recently, what do you actually do?
Mm-hmm. What do you do, Grace?
What do I do? What do I do? And I thought, God, they really have no idea just how many little working parts go into this. Even the load in and load out had to be done so specifically because we have such larger vehicles coming in. How are they going to get out? Street blockades are happening. There's water barricades. There was concrete barricades, something called zigzag bicycle fences. So I think where people don't understand is the months of planning ahead of time, planning with not just, code and compliance, but the city planning team, the traffic team. This is where, I think just people need to really understand, when you're late to an event. I had one guy, I'm gonna say it, one of our food vendors, our food truck came in late and he missed our 10 to 12 window. Now, obviously we want every food truck there, and so we try to accommodate it, but what happened was they're building a stage, and then I had weed maps, if you guys saw it, had the sickest, it was so cool. It was like this cool maze thing you could go in made of plants, like a big...
And if you didn't see it this year, you better make sure to be there next year.
Or at LA Pride.
We're not going there yet.
Okay, cut that out.
We got to finish the story before we go there.
So now imagine this food truck pulls in, you guys. We're well after my 12 o'clock cutoff. It's got to be like 1:30. And logistically, how do I even get this thing in? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh my God. So thank God, Weed Maps, shout out to you guys. They took down half their display. I felt so bad. They literally just started dismantling their display. We had to get the stage crew to start moving things. Don't be late. But it happened.
We got them in. We squeezed them in.
And then can I say, I don't know if you saw this, Jason. Y'all, don't be this person. I don't know who it is, or I'd call you out. We finished closing this whole street off. We get everything in. So many load in, load out instructions were sent on like, you have to be out by this time. There's only one way out. Tell me why. It's like 2 hours before the event, and this girl comes up to me. She's like, hey, I got a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? She's like, well, my car is still in here. You guys, this girl had parked her car on the side of this huge Weed Maps booth. You couldn't see her car necessarily. So it was in between like booth and this giant like activation.
Wow.
And now this girl's like, well, how do I get out? And I'm thinking, I don't know. How do you get out? Don't be that girl, you guys.
Don't be that girl.
We had to move booths. We had to squeeze her out illegally onto like an illegal fire lane. Don't be that girl.
Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl.
But
then around that 2:30 time is around the time when we got a whole bunch of visitors. We got greeted by about 5 DCC agents. And shortly after that, we were greeted with approximately 5 city staffers, all there to do walkthroughs to ensure all of the compliance and that all the brands understood what they were allowed to do, what they weren't allowed to do, and make sure that just overall the event was compliant, up to code, all of that fun stuff. And I'll tell you what.
And wait, before he says it, because he's gonna get excited and tell you the cliffhanger, but before that, let me say, I guess I'm the cliffhanger, he's the exciting. Y'all, they didn't come once to do an inspection. They didn't come twice. They came 3 times to do 3 inspections, and the state came twice. By the way, super kick-ass. The state came back the second time in costume, and one of the state officials was dressed like a giant marijuana leaf.
One was,
Heck,
that's true.
Yeah, super shout
true.
out.
That is true.
But wait, tell them, Jason, how did we perform during our full inspection?
Well, I'm so happy you asked this, Grace. I'm so happy you asked this because the city was very nervous. They were definitely nervous as far as odor mitigation protocols that were in place. And they really anticipated a large number of nuisance complaints in regards to the smell of cannabis in the streets of West Hollywood.
We even had to lower our the decibels that we could have our music at. There was what we were told was regulation, and then when they came out, we even lowered it.
Yes, we did that too. But in regards with everything that happened during this whole thing, this whole evening went off without a hinge, no problems. And when we got the report back from the city, I looked at my phone and I noticed that we had no missed calls from any city officials. We got absolutely 0 neighborhood complaints, absolutely 0 medical emergencies, and absolutely 0 code violations. Oh yes, shout out Grace Consulting and Genway International and the Emerald Village.
Yeah, what a dream team. I'm not exaggerating. We could not have pulled off this event without any one of those working parts. It was such a team collaboration. Everything from you and Scott reaching out to city council and getting some assistance and guidance and how to make it compliant and work with the city. And then my reaching out to shout out Van at the state and her bosses that really stepped in and helped us. And then I'm just gonna say it, my homie Victor, if y'all need any help with accounting or with your LLCs, my man Victor, I mean, there were just so many different people, and what a dream team.
Yes.
I can't even express it.
Came through clutch in the 9th inning with everything that we needed for a successful event.
And by the way,
And-
High at 9 streamed the event.
Yes.
So you can watch it.
You can. We streamed for 2 hours and 15 minutes of some of the best coverage from the entire night's events. Make sure you check it out on our YouTube channel. And you know what's also even more exciting, Grace, is that David Wilson, the West Hollywood city manager, at the city council meeting on the following Monday, thanked the Emerald Village and said that the cannabis activation was the crown jewel in the West Hollywood Halloween Carnival 2023.
Hey.
Yes. So you know that we will have future events in conjunction with the City of West Hollywood, as well as
Consulting with Grace, LLC.
The answer was LA Pride 2024.
Oh, I didn't know we could say it. Okay, wait, cut and do that over.
Okay. What did I say before?
You said, and now Emerald Village will be.
And now, with Emerald Village's success in successfully throwing West Hollywood Halloween Carnival 2023, the next event coming up is going to be
LA Pride 2024. Emerald Village will be hosting it. Tap in from now for sponsorships because we're gonna sell out. You guys, what a fucking dream. Like, sorry
Yes.
I cussed, but I can't even put it into words. I mean, it's already just incredible to have had this happen. I mean, what Emerald Village pulled off at Halloween in West Hollywood, just to be, I really want to put this out there, the first, city and state sanctioned consumption and retail event in West Hollywood. It's set a precedent for the future. It's opened the door for so many different cities to get to do this. And now add on LA Pride, one of the hugest festivals, I'm going to say, in the world, because people genuinely fly in from all over the world, and to get to have a
West
cannabis.
West Hollywood Halloween is the largest Halloween celebration in the world.
What a dream. Please check out High at 9 News for the recap of Halloween. You can also check out California Clouds did a recap. Genway, THC members only, has a recap. You guys, what we have coming next, I think is just going to blow everyone out of the water. This was like the beta tester. This was like, we had to keep it chill.
This was, we
had to keep the activations pretty chill.
Minimal.
We had people have cool shit we couldn't do yet.
Very minimal.
Yeah.
Yes. This is just the start and just the beginning of all the amazing things that you will find when you experience events with Emerald Village in West Hollywood. So, I want to thank my guest today and new business partner, thanks to the city of West Hollywood, Grace Lahlouh. I know I murdered that. You want to say how you pronounce your last name correctly, Grace?
It's Lahlouh, but to make it easier,
Lahlouh.
Lahlouh is fine.
I think Grace Lahlouh it's easier. It's easier on the tongue.
It's easier. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, this has been Grace Lahlouh joining us today. We want to thank her so much for joining us, spending some time with us over here at House 43 while we are recording casual conversations and reminiscing about our escapades with the city of West Hollywood in throwing its first ever licensed cannabis event in conjunction with the city of West Hollywood. Any final words?
Stay lit.
Stay lit, or you'll be burnt out.